Warning: what you are about to hear goes against traditional romantic counsel expressed by friends, family, and Instagram memes and quotes. Open mindedness is advised.
We done gone so far, baby. I hope it lasts forever, baby. It seems that way.
Oh, they can't hear
But
me, but no, I hear. Lord mercy, so many problems. Yes, we are here. We are live. We are direct. I am your host, Neil Hoyt. This is Derek Marshall. False start after false start, week after week, we always have a problem, but we still here. We still can get into it just like every week,
so yeah.
right? Shout out
Keep it
Laura.
trucking.
Yeah, man, keep it trucking. Derek,
Yeah, man.
talk to me nice again, cause I didn't hear you the first time.
Yeah, man. And we talk nice. I am here. What's going on with you?
Yeah, man, I here. I thankful. We had a little basketball earlier. It was good to be back on the court, as we were saying earlier. But we
For
here,
sure, for sure.
we getting it in. You know how we keep it. So, while you plug G-Syndicate, I gotta resend all of this. So, um, just plug G-Syndicate where we are.
Yeah, man. G-Syndicate, you can find out every the premier acapella group this side of the world. Well, in this region of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Caribbean music, North American music with a Caribbean feel. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
The original music as well too. So anything you want, if you're interested in good stuff, good music, soca, reggae, spooge, dancehall, we do all of that. We do it only with the human voice. And you can check us out at gsyndicate6.com. You can check us out Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, gsyndicate6. Check us out on all of those different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
We are working on our latest release.
Mm-hmm.
We have an album project coming up. We're not just giving you one single this time. We were going to do that, but we kind of said, you know what? Let's make it all happen. Show big ups to the NCF for coming through on that
Hey,
in that regard. So we are definitely preparing our next project. This will be our second EP, and we are working on that assiduously to make sure that that is right and ready for everybody very, very soon. So that's what we all know, man. Shout out to the guys. We had a really good practice, a really good rehearsal last night. Kiomal, Vaden, Mark, Brett, and Antonio. We got the guys.
Yeah, everybody in G-Syndicate, shout out.
Shout out to man. See, Jennifer is here. Her lights are back on. Awesome. Good to hear that. Cherish is in the house early.
Cherish.
As is Laura. The other people in the chat. Let me say it here before we really kick it off, Neil. Shout out to everybody that comes out and gives us some support, you know, and really spreads the word and stuff like that. We really, really appreciate it.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
It's awesome to come here and talk to you guys every night, but every Tuesday and Thursday, because it could be just me and Neil talking, you know, to ourselves and then putting it online and hoping somebody sees it. Cheryl in the house, big up Cheryl.
Dante?
Yeah, man. But it's always good to be able to do something and people kind of take a liking to it. Let me spruce up my screen a little bit here, make sure that I'm in the right frame.
Yeah.
It's always good to be able to produce something that people want to be a part of and like and enjoy. So we thank you so much, guys, for coming out with us every week, every Tuesday and Thursday. We really, really appreciate it. Yeah.
Yep. Right. So I echo Derek's sentiments. We do appreciate it. So Derek, let us get into it. So let's just say at first we were going to talk about something, and we decided at the very last minute. A shout out Victoria. We decided at the very last minute to preempt what we were going to talk about. We were going to talk a bit about I can't remember what we were going to talk about, but what came up was so so pertinent.
tasty.
Yeah, it was tasty and it was necessary to talk about. And we are talking about the thirst trap, right? Every Tuesday and Thursday, before every Tuesday and Thursday, before every episode we have, Derek usually would put up certain things, but as I said, we preempted that. So this week, this episode, Derek is going to explain to you what we're going to be really talking about tonight. Shout out to Natalie Burt. So let's get into it, my brother.
Yeah, man. So I put up we were going to talk about that 100%. Yeah, kind of following on from
Right.
Tuesday's discussion.
Mm-hmm.
But then during the day, over the course of the day, a couple times I got the same article about the Brittany Renner and PJ Washington situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt, you know what, let me just kind of shift course and talk about this a little bit, because I figure it is pertinent. It's something that we really need to look at and have a chat about, given the particular circumstances, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me just come into my chat with you so that I can see what we got going on. It's now see that you've sent me some links, so let me give those a forward as well,
Mm-hmm.
so that we get people in the house quick.
Yeah, for those of you joining, we had a false start for some reason. I am not sure why, because what I've noticed is the episode we had on Tuesday, we had well over 30 people viewing, etc. And usually that would translate into about between 150 to 200 initial views. But for some reason, Facebook did not recognize those. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it is something happening on YouTube's end, not sure, or on Facebook's end. Don't even know if it has to do with the program that I'm using OBS. But anyhow, we here, we live, we getting at it. Derek forwards that and everything. That for those of you who don't know, PJ Washington, he is a young man that plays
with the Charlotte Hornets.
Charlotte Hornets in the NBA. He's young. He's what, 23, 22?
22 years.
22 years old. I think it's his second year. Second or third year. Anyhow, he's a young player in the NBA. Obviously, playing at the highest level. He is playing for a lot of money. Brittany Renner. Compared to
me and you, yeah.
Me and you put together for a year. He's met probably in a game. So he got involved with Brittany Renner. Brittany Renner is a social media influencer. She's an IG model.
Let's take a pay here, dude. I think that's like stretching the term social media influencer to the nth degree. But I digress. Carry on.
Again, the woman her flowers. That's all.
Give her a flower.
Right. So that the woman says she's Instagram. Well, that's how she's recognized. She got a blue tick, I think. So
yes, she does.
She's verified. So she is a social media influencer, a person that is on social media, does her thing, models, fitness. I ain't even sure what she's doing nowadays. But anyhow, that's what she's doing. And it is alleged that she has been hanging around PJ Washington's high school games when he was 18, 17, that kind of thing. And she showed an interest in him. Obviously, they would have had some form of communication over the years. I'm not sure when the relationship would have started, but anyhow, my man eventually made it to the NBA. And she has had his child, and now she trying to secure the bag, as it were, for taking care of the child, etc. So we gotta wait to see how that can turn out. But
so Neil, just to provide a little bit of context for everybody who is in the chat room and watching tonight, I sent you a video with Miss Renner.
Right.
She's 29 years old, 30 years old, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we should show that video just so we can provide those watching with some context. Because the question being asked is, should she face charges for having, dealt with this young man?
Yeah, let me get her on screen. Her video on screen. Here she is. Let me hit OK. Go there.
And
So we are. You can tell me when you're ready. Now, bear in mind there will be some swearing in this video, so parental advisory is advised, not suitable for work. Whatever you want, be careful. So here we go.
I want to know my body count. I don't know why in like 2018 that's any of your fucking business or why it matters. But 24. 11 athletes. Woo! 5 entertainers. Woo! 8 regular guys. Woo! I've only fucked 3 regular guys since I've been Instagram famous because a lot of y'all run your fucking mouths too much. I don't want to be sending you a video 1 minute, the next minute I see me spreading along the timeline playing with my pussy. In my experience, the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, I mean, you could just fuck an athlete. They're really dumb. I don't like talking about my history with men I'm dating, I guess until now, because most of the guys that I've dealt with are gonna have more money than you. And you're gonna feel a way about it. I know the male ego is fragile, like the ball sack that hangs in between your legs. In conclusion, like I don't even look at people as like trashy or not. It all comes down to mentality for me.
Yes, please. That is the lovely Brittany Renner. That video was what, since 2018, 2019?
yep.
Yep. So she has had the plan in the works for a minute or so.
Yeah. Yes, she's a woman of purpose. As they say about John Wick.
Sure will.
Yeah, sure will, a commitment and purpose, you know what I mean? What I'll say, right, Neil, is I really wanted to look, because it's easy to look at this situation and say, you know, or she's this, the next, and the third. But I wanted to look at this, and this might be a little surprising to those of you who watch this show often and know my take on certain things. But Jennifer is saying I don't know who she be. Yeah, you probably wouldn't know who she be. As she said, she's Instagram famous. So I wanted to take a look at this from a different perspective, right? And as I said, it might be a little surprising, given you know how I tend to address certain things. But it might be a little surprising coming from me, right? But I want to look at this particular situation. I want to ask the question, what can we learn from the debacle that is PJ Washington's romantic life, right? And I want us to look at PJ Washington, gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you first tonight. Ladies, obviously you're here so you can have a listen in, and if you feel to agree, you can put some ones in the chat with anything I'm saying, right? Before I get into my little monologue diatribe, as a matter of fact, no, I'll save that for after. Gentlemen, our Prime Minister said it best. Incline to common sense. We should heed wise counsel, right? And I feel that this is why this particular situation is why men, it is necessary for men to interact with men. It is necessary for younger men to interact with older men, right? Iron sharpens iron. Now, when we look at this situation, he is on the Charlotte Hornets. He has a teammate, interestingly enough, ironically enough, as fate would have it enough, as you want to describe it. He has a teammate who is even younger than he is, who is dating or going out with, dealing with, whatever you want to call it, her cousin. Now, her cousin.
That's her cousin?
Right? Her cousin is the great Tiana Trump. And I use great, in whatever terms you want to use.
You serious, Rick?
I am certain.
That
her cousin is an adult, Tiana Trump is an adult film star.
Oh,
and
wow.
You can see by Neil's reaction that he is familiar with some of her work. And I would have to say that I do. I'm
Yeah.
familiar with some of her work.
Mhm.
No shame in my game,
No shame in the
right?
game, you know. She comes up a bit every now and then.
She comes up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Particularly skilled young lady.
Mm-hmm.
She went on a podcast recently and admitted to having 80 guys in her body count by the end of high school.
Oh
Right?
Jesus!
Yeah. This is her cousin, Tiana Trump, admitting to,
Sheesh.
more bodies in the Expendables movie. All right. Right. So, but here's the difference between LaMelo Ball, who was dating Tiana Trump, and PJ Washington going out with Brittany Renner. To this point, LaMelo Ball has no children with Tiana Trump. It might be impacting her work, who knows? But hey, the difference here is LaMelo Ball's father said point blank, up front, listen, young man, these particular girls only want you for X. Well, let me not be PC. For your money, your resources, the things you have. If you were just an ordinary lanky dude playing basketball, these women would not be looking at you. So you need to make sure that you keep your head on and you are careful in terms of managing yourself, managing your money, managing your resources, your time with these particular women. Now, here's the thing, Neil and James. Life is about scale. Yes, things happen on that level, and the money and everything looks very large compared to what we go through here. But the situations are the same. So even though it is significantly more money, PJ Washington signed a contract, 3 years, $12 million or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's more money than anybody in this chat will sniff, right? But unless you're all rich and don't and it's enemy, right? But the numbers in terms of the money we can't compare, but the situations are the same. There are still situations of there where men put themselves in a bad situation and they go ahead and they end up this going impregnate a woman or something like that, and then you hear them saying, "I wish I'd have never." But you knew from beforehand that this is a situation into which you are going, which leads me to my point number 2. We as men must choose more wisely and vet properly.
Mm.
Yeah. And here's the thing, Neil, in this particular situation, he didn't even have to vet.
Shoot.
We just showed you a video. She put her entire dossier online.
But
When we made the decision to do this particular topic, Neil, that was a quick YouTube search.
bit because once you hear the name, it's like, oh yeah. Mark saying she just come up. Mark, yeah.
Yeah.
Showed up,
That was
Kevin.
that was a quick YouTube search, and Bram,
Mm-hmm.
we had that video to use today. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And she says in the video, if you want to come up, get an athlete that don't use condoms and they're done.
The Duncy.
Fellas, we have to choose more wisely up front and then vet properly. I have a friend who may or may not be in the chat right now who says that, these are the things you get when you try to pursue these extra hot girls or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. If you put yourself in a position where you work for your money, you bring yourself up or whatever, you figure that you should have the best of whatever or the best that you can afford.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, a man who went, played his way, trained all them mornings, trained all them nights, put in all that hours working on your game to get to a particular level, he's going to want a woman of a certain attractiveness, right? And that's understandable. But you have to be still conscious of the stuff that is within that particular person.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2018, this chick had a video saying, hey, they slept with this amount of people. The body count don't really, well, the body count is important. But I ain't really concerned with the body count at this particular juncture, because the more pertinent stuff is what she said at the end, where she said, if you want to get the come up, get an athlete. They don't use condoms and they're dumb. You could put that in either order in terms of how they come, right? Now, fellas, we as men, we want women to be accountable for the people they choose and the people with whom they choose to produce offspring. If that is the case, men, we must be held to the same standard. If you know that a woman is out there, and let me borrow some words from the minister of misogyny, if I may, one future. A future says, from the streets did she emerge into the street, she will return. And I say unto you, she is for the streets. Yeah, that one. You can go out somewhere where, yeah.
She belongs to the street.
One more time for the people that didn't hear anybody.
She belongs to the street.
So be wary not when she must return from whence she came. Right? If you know that up front, fellas, do not go put yourself in a position where, no, don't get me wrong, and this applies to both men and women, because then they know some women will apply for me. Oh, this is who you're encouraging, blah, blah, blah. If you know that the person has that particular reputation, I ain't telling you don't go have little fun and enjoy each other as two consenting adults. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is you still have to protect your investment. And men, when they say your investment, what do they mean? All those hours you spent working on your craft, working on whatever, that was your initial investment. Now, to bring you to the level which you are now being paid, you are earning because of your efforts, you are earning because of your time. And because you could not buy a condom, or you chose not to buy a condom, or because you felt because of your newfound wealth that you are suddenly invincible, you have gone and impregnated a woman who said up front that that was her plan. And now, that brings me to point number 3, Neil Hoyt. In order to be the best version of yourself as a man, one of the first things you need to master is dick discipline.
Amen. Oh, hallelujah.
It is absolutely...
Hold on. Wait, you hold on. I want to play church music. Go ahead.
Church music.
Go ahead, my brother.
In order to be the best version of yourself as a man, church, one of the first things you need to master is dick discipline. Let me say that again. You need to master dick discipline. It is absolutely impossible to achieve financial wealth and financial independence when your money is tied up in child support payments. PJ Washington will be trapped in the child support system for the next 18 years, at least. At least. You don't want to protect your investment. You work so hard to get to the point where you can earn $12 million in 3 years. You don't want to protect that, because allegedly he was supposed to be paying $200,000 a month in child support. Now, I don't believe that figure to be accurate. I don't, considering the fact that Dr. Dre, who has significantly more money, is paying $300,000. So I would hate to think that he is getting hit for $200,000, right? Considering the disparity between the earnings of the two of them. But shoot, somebody did the calculation. He would have paid her $40-something million at the end of 18 years. You know what I mean? When you do that calculation, Now, this man is LeBron. He is Steph Curry. He ain't KD. He ain't making that. He's not max contract money. KD, Steph, LeBron, that man could reach it. Giannis, that man reach it the coach and find out $43 million and give her. But he gets a contract for $12 million. Divided up over 3 years. Right? How long will he have to play in the NBA to be able to sustain paying, maybe say, call it $100,000? Because he be essentially now playing to pay. So, gentlemen, we spoke about this when we talked about Father Abraham. We spoke about the Nick Cannon situation and Le'Veon Bell and them fellas. You cannot achieve financial wealth and independence if you are in the child support system and your wages are being garnished for this. You know what I mean? It just don't make sense. And on the flip side of this, well, not on the flip side. Let me go off on a little bit of a tangent, because they're saying that she would have picked him up from the time he was in high school or whatever. Ain't really into that part. I want to look at it from this particular situation, because I know we as men, we like to look at the situation of, it's me. I hear all the time, it's me and my girl. I gotta look up for me and my girl. And if my girl want this, so she must have it. Or, yeah, man, my girl going. And I told you all weeks ago, if you dropping your girl to UE and you coming back for her, trust me, you are making a road for a monkey to run on. If you are dropping her to UE and you ain't going in a class too, nah, you playing with fire. Right? So I said it then, I'm going to say it here now again. Do not attempt to lift these women up. Yeah? If she wants to come up on her own and she asks you to help, that's a different situation. But if you find these women, to borrow a phrase from my daughter's mother, living in squalor. If you find these women living in squalor, you need to leave them there. To borrow from Jennifer Hoyt, we have to meet people where they're at. And a lot of times, we have to leave them there. Also, we hear the particular the phrase, we hear all the time immemorial, right? You cannot turn a 304 into a housewife, right? Get your calculator, write it 304, turn it upside down, you'll see what I'm talking about, right? You cannot turn a 304 into a housewife. So again, as I close tonight's sermon, allow me to quote a few words one more time by the Minister of Misogyny Future, which I find applicable to this particular situation. From the streets did she emerge, and to the streets she will return, because she has gone back to hosting events. Let me just put that on there, right?
Yeah, she got the bike. She got the bike.
Gone back to hosting events. And I say unto you, she's for the streets. So be weary not when she must return from whence she came. Okay? You cannot attempt to help people who do not want to help themselves. That is how we as men run ourselves into problems. That is how we as men end up in these particular situations, such as PJ Washington's. And then we are left up to the scrutiny of friends and family. Unfortunately for PJ Washington, because of who he is, his situation is now public record. His situation is now fodder for memes and gossip columns and podcasts such as ours. Right? So thank you, PJ.
I was just about to say, thanks, brother.
All right? Thanks for getting up the man. Now, I want to wrap that up, Neil, right? Because I want to address another portion of this, right? I really want to address another portion of this, but I can stop right here for now so that you can have your say. I don't want to be too much heavy, so you can have your say on all that's gone on so far, so that people can hear your dulcet tones.
Right. So honestly, my brother, you have said it very eloquently, and I don't mind you being Mike heavy because there are times where I be Mike heavy, and I dog up on my rant. So it's always welcome. I find that's why I love about our dynamic because we are fighting for the mic, we are fighting for airtime. But yeah, man, PJ, brother, and you know what I've realized with everything that's going on in the world, everything that's going on with COVID, the vaccine, this whole Republic of Barbados or whatever. Not getting political or anything like that. I'm just saying the information is out there, and we all have the power to get information, and we have the power to do with that information and let that inform us to whatever level or to whatever conclusion we want to. Saying that to say that if I am an NBA player and I realize this chick buzzing around me and somebody get in my ear and say, yo, because at some point, shoot, even if the boy don't get in my ear and say, oh, that's Britney, it's bundle of Britney or whatever on IG.
Yeah.
Right? If the boy don't get in my ear, at some point, you can be like, yo, what's your IG? And you can look for it and you can see it. You see her followers. And to me, shoot, as a man, I have not dated. I have maybe dated one person in Barbados that was very well known, by Barbadian standards famous. Another person that was infamous, but anyhow, that's a story for another time. But the point is that I do my due diligence, right? If somebody comes around and say, yo, I like you, I want you, and it's all right, that's cool, no problem. What's your full name? And I go straight to database that is Facebook. I go straight to IG. I go in on all of social media because I want to know what I get myself into.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, social media tells us a lot about ourselves. We put a lot of information of ourselves on social media unwittingly, and it informs us a lot about who you are, right? So I would have gone if I had a PJ watching it. I said, man, look, Bundle Britney. Let me look up Bundle Britney. I looking at YouTube. I looking up. Well, I am sure I can go the same way we found those videos. The video of Britney and all of the it ain't hard.
So, teammate.
So to me, if you get into there with Britney and you starting to do as you like and you realize, yo, this woman here, she's sweet, yeah. She's nice, she's saying the right things or whatever. And it's not fair for me to put it on a young man because he is 22, 21 or 20 whenever he would have impregnated Britney. So around that time, it's hard to kind of, you feel like you could change the person or you could be the one or you could whatever, right? But this is where what you said about older gentlemen stepping in and saying, bruh, yo, don't.
She belongs to the streets.
They belong to the streets. And you know what? It is funny, right? I see Ramel Miller in here earlier. Ramel Miller said when he joined us on our podcast, he said that you should marry before you carry. You should have children under the coverage of marriage. Some people took that as, whatever they call him. But anyhow, we're not getting into that tonight. The point is that I agree. Like, if I'm an NBA player, if any child that I drop in happening under the coverage of marriage. Like, you hear these NBA players, Dwight Howard, Sean Kemp, so many of these players have multiple children by multiple women, right? And you wonder, at some point, you gotta realize that the man want you. It ain't like you're a specimen of man that they want you to carry on the lineage. You know what I mean? Or that your DNA strand is so important that women beating down your door to have children. Like, no, they want you for who you are and what you have. Right? So it is a bit of fame, it's a bit of notoriety, it's of money, for sure. That's the primary thing. For sure. So, I see Ramel saying he has no sympathy for PJ. He was warned. No, I don't necessarily feel bad for PJ necessarily. I do have a bit of sympathy for him, but in the end, he's an adult and he could have found out a lot sooner what she was about without having a child and having to pay what is alleged $200,000 in child support. But to me, men, and this ain't even only for men that are of a certain level or a certain means, like, we gotta keep our head on. And ladies, you gotta keep your head on too. right? Because at the end of the day, still, these give me nice feelings and feel good and thing, and people look good, got the pretty eyes, and the sex game on tilt, and we feel good and whatever. And we figuring, man, look, was a child here, or was a condom, why we can use a condom or whatever. Like, yo, it real easy to have a child. And there are
Mm-hmm.
consequences that come for a lifetime because of that child, because of that decision to have unprotected sex. And I always say, why are we letting $10 making me a fool? I know the stop with my premium condoms, but I can say $10, right? Why are we making $10 make us a fool?
Yeah, because I mean, you skip on the condoms and no child support is way more than that.
I sure was how much condoms cost in states. I sure for sure know that he could get a pack of condoms, and I
For that
know he
child
could.
support money.
Very good, right? The man could have probably get 2 brake trucks full of condoms and still got money for partying the night after, right? So we have to be more careful and more cognizant and stop with this foolishness of my body, my choice. If it's your body, your choice, make better choices. If it
Yeah.
is your body, your choice, make better choices. Because at the end of the day, when you have a child for a man that's a deadbeat, a dud, a man that using you for whatever, right? And the man ain't checking for you, the child, whatever, and he coming to use. See my man Kevin Taylor, shout out to man, $3 US for a pack of condoms. And now he out $200,000 a month. A madman. But yeah, when we
Good.
yeah, when we when we when women, when you have a man as a dud, you have a man that ain't paying the child support, ain't looking after the child. Shoot, he ain't doing nothing for you nor this child. Nothing, emotional support, nothing. He's doing nothing for this child, and you vex and you put him in court and you run about and you got ill feelings toward him and he's stressing you out because you can't afford this child or whatever. Then you wonder why. Shoot, if I had to make a better choice, you know, if you can't wait till marriage to have sex, which is a lot of us, let's be honest, protect yourself. Protect yourself. Yeah, you might take a one chance here, one chance there. You take risks and you take chances or whatever like that, sure. But you should not tell yourself, me and this man together, me and this woman together, we are in love. So let me beat the brakes off of this woman. Or let me get this man this loving and protected. And then when the child come, we both got we 2 hands in here and then we, gaining we corners and like better decisions. And that is the thing. A lot of people go with this, my body, my choice. But if it is your body, your choice, then make the best possible decision for yourself.
Now, Neil, I find it interesting that you are addressing a situation like that because we normally hear the term "my body, my choice" from women, right? And I found the responses. As I said, I got this a couple of times, and the real fodder in um, any link that you get is really in the comment section. So I went through the comment section and I found some of the responses interesting and informative. And I would like us now, Neil, to have some of those responses on screen so that I can read them for the audience at home. We can have a look at them because there's some things I need men to really understand where this particular situation is concerned. So if we could just put them on stage,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, on screen, not stage, not on stage.
All right, so tell me where to start. You had them in order when you sent it to me?
No, I didn't.
Because I have them queued up, but you just have to kind of tell me.
Okay, all right. Let me just make a look. But yeah, you can roll them in any order, really and truly.
All right.
But I
All right, I can go with this one. Do I think she is trifling for that type of mentality?
yeah. You
Let
could,
me
you
start
could
with
come
that.
down. Come on, you road.
All right, so we on screen now.
Cool
And you could tell me when you
beans.
want me to move on to the next one.
Let me see here. Do I think she's trifling for that type of mentality? Absolutely. But if she didn't put a gun to his head, then that's even more reason for him and all athletes, celebrities, men as a whole to wrap it up. We could go to the next one, Neil. Let me say here, ladies and gents, that all of these screenshots are from women. Okay? All of these screenshots are from women. I found very few men commented on it. So, isn't sex ed taught in school? He's a full-grown adult and needs to be told to wrap it up, especially since he has so much to lose. Has he not paid attention to social media, news, documentaries, friends who all have examples of people not wrapping it up and the consequences that come from it? No, it's not a trap. You just thought you were different and the outcome wouldn't be the same. She literally gave her game plan and followed through. I don't think that's how a trap works. Yes, Neil. Yes, let's go forward. It sucks, but these players should already know what some women are willing to do just to get the bag. They're focusing on getting some ass, not even realizing that she has a totally different plan. LOL. Maybe he should just apply for full custody. Flip that shit back. And smiley emoji, laughing emoji. Let's keep going forward, Neil. I found these particularly interesting. Somebody says, charge that to the game. Someone should have given him the advice of how these people are once they see money, because men do it too. She knew what she was doing. He was hooked and lined, and no, she doesn't have to work. And now she doesn't have to work anymore. These young rich people need a person in their ear. Well, that's not the right there, but anyhow, giving them the game as somebody taught Brittany. Is it wrong? Yes. But someone on his team told him she wasn't good and he didn't listen, or someone knew she wasn't good and didn't tell him, scared to lose their place in his circle. Cold world. Yes. Should know who you're sleeping with, especially as a professional athlete. Money is sometimes the motive. Most times it is. Also, I think every adult knows the consequences of unprotected sex. Before we roll from this one here, let me just leave this one on screen for a little bit, because it says you should know who you're sleeping with, especially as a professional athlete. And we talk in our chat, and they always make the point. If I were a professional athlete, well, I ain't really about the marriage thing right now, but if I were a professional athlete, I definitely wouldn't be about it. Why? Because it's so difficult to know who is there in your camp with you, who don't like 4 flat tires, or who just there to seek personal advancement, as I like to call it. Because Brittany didn't hook up with this guy on him touching down the NBA. She didn't even hook up with this guy in college. Apparently, from what we're hearing, she picked him up from high school. So women read the producer credits. Women know, this body on drums, this body on keyboard, this body on bass guitar. They know who is on the record. So when they say the producer credits now for you as a man, they know if you're working, if you're working, where you work, how much you work for, or they could kind of make a good guess of how much you earn based on where you work and what you do. So when we read the producer credits, so it's very difficult to know who is really in your camp who don't like 4 flat tires, right? So you got to be very, very careful in terms of protect somebody. One of these screenshots, the person talks about it, protecting your investment. All the stuff you work that you would have put in, you got to protect that. Let's roll to the next one, Neil, because we soon there. Remember, ladies and gents, these are all comments from women, and you're watching the Senate podcast here on Facebook and YouTube. And this person says he's an adult. Each person is responsible for themselves. He knows the game. He should have wrapped it up. We can come back to that one, but let's roll and go on.
Next one on.
Yeah. And this one was particularly entertaining for me. This person says, LOL, please. He's an adult. I mean, he was totally obvious. Or I think they made oblivious to how some of these groupies roll, there is ample evidence everywhere. These athletes think women pursue them for their personality. Ha ha ha. He deserves to be taken to the cleaners. He deserves to be taken to the cleaners.
Mm.
That was the last one, right, Neil?
Well, no, there's of that subset, but there's
Yeah.
one here. Men's greatest weakness is their facade of strength, and women's greatest strength is their facade of weakness.
Yeah, we definitely. Oh, yeah. I find this particularly pertinent. Men's greatest weakness is their facade of strength. Women's greatest strength is their facade of weakness. We can come back to that. But Neil, family tonight, I found these screenshots particularly informative.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I remember we did a show a few weeks ago, Neil, and one person put in the comment section of the Facebook post that men are 100% responsible for unwanted pregnancies. And I remember we had a very interesting back and forth where people were saying, it is not on the women for, unwanted pregnancy, that kind of thing. Yet here and still, everybody, all the women shown, and there were several more. I just took out some of my greatest hits and put on screen for you guys. But I found it particularly interesting that none of the women had any sympathy for this guy, right? None of the women thought, and it's understandable. He made his decision. He made a poor decision, and he is reaping the rewards of that decision. He's getting the credits for that decision. You make a good decision, you get good credits. You make a poor one, you get bad credits, right? But I find it particularly interesting that the general consensus is he made a bad decision, live with it. Gentlemen, it behooves you to be aware of this, of this sentiment. You need to understand that you have certain responsibilities, right? You are faced with certain things as a man, and you have to be where you're supposed to be, and you have to do what you're supposed to do. The world will give you no quarter. There will be no kadir. You are expected to do what you have to do and live with the decisions thereof. The world will not see you like the tennis chick, Naomi, whomever.
In Osaka.
Right? Or Simone Biles. Those ladies had their own issues going on. They pulled out, or no clap back. And that's fine. My guy, he had his own situation going on. Everybody's like, oh man, too bad for you. That's what you did. Live with it. So, ladies, let me come to you. Because, and as the Belgians would say, because, I sincerely hope that your female folk will maintain the same energy when it is said, well, ladies, this is decisions you made when you choose to sleep with a vile man and produce for the vile man. Do not then be upset with the results which you get. Do not be upset when you choose to procreate with a man with limited resources. And then he cannot support you nor the child. Are you struggling Don't come after the fact and quarrel and be vexed and say, these men in the use. That is the man you chose. Much like that is the woman that PJ Washington chose. So I hope that we can maintain the same energy when it is on the other side, or the other people say when the shoe is on the other foot. Even here tonight, the people in the comment section, they say it as harshly, but the overall sentiment seemed to be, yeah, he didn't do his due diligence and he get burned. You know what I mean? So, ladies, this is what equality looks like. We had it on screen just now. Men's greatest weakness is their facade of strength, and women's greatest strength is their facade of weakness. You cannot be strong, independent on one hand, and then you're a delicate flower on the other, who cannot deal with the consequences of their own actions. Gentlemen, you will have to face the consequences of your own actions. And as such, it behooves you to make good decisions. I can't put that, I can't break that down like a fraction no any further. I can't. Make good decisions. This is men and women. Another podcaster drew the reference to in terms of talking about this and accountability and stuff like that. He said, you would not go and buy a car without taking it to your, getting your mechanic to come and see it, make sure you have it run through, make sure that everything was good with that car. You can't just go and buy a car on a whim, and then when it don't work, you drive it off your lot, and before you get home and break down, you vex. Complaining about the carrying this and the carrying that. You didn't do your due diligence, you didn't vet this car, you didn't go through it properly or whatever. And these are the results you get. You saw Mark in the chat, showed up Mark more. You play country games, you win country prizes.
Facts.
So ladies, I hope you understand that to come and say that these men in ish is no longer a viable excuse, because Brittany Renner was known to the streets, right? Let me get my boy there, so let me get the minister in the house. Yeah?
She belongs to the street.
She was known to the streets. PJ Washington hooked up with her. And now he has to deal with the consequences of his actions. Ladies, you will have to do the same. That is equality. Yeah? Let me just dive in the chat here a little bit, Neil. See what's up, see who's coming for me tonight. Okay, so let me dive in. Ramel says, Cheryl says, it's standard to check out who you check in though. I call all my girls and their friends and get the S on the person. So I find it hard to believe he had asked at least one person about this girl, but maybe he knew and figured he could reform her. Which is what we said earlier, Cheryl. You can't change nobody. You can't bait nobody like that. If you know that for the streets, leave them there. Ramel, welcome again. Ramel, always good to see you, buddy. Ramel says, my concern is that this is primarily the black athletes and entertainers that fall into this trap. Yeah, which is why we talked earlier about discipline. You have to be able to see some of the women and left them.
Why?
Because you've got to protect what you have built. You have to protect what you have built. Justin is in the crying. Good to see you, my brother. Justin says, what is interesting is that when women have unprotected sex and get caught with deadbeat men, they get sympathy and support. Interesting. Yeah, just thought about that. Interesting how the narrative changes and he will be in no way considered to be a victim of a shakedown. Exactly. Men, victimhood is not a currency for you. Shout out Larry Marshall. Victimhood is not a currency for you. And ladies, victimhood, men waking up. So the victimhood, that stop devaluing. that dollar devaluing fast. So we're talking about equality. We got to start meeting on that playing field. We got to meet equally. So what's good for the goose may well be good for the gander. Unless, of course, we're happy with the double standards, which y'all told me you're not happy with. So just let me know if we're working double standards right through, we could do that. And men will understand. But then again, men understand. But just want to admit, you know what I mean? Ramel says that is why LeBron will always be my man. Oh, dear.
Yes, Ramel. No, read it again. Read it again. Read it again, Derek. Come on now.
This
You
is
can't.
difficult.
No,
This is difficult.
but no, I can just read it again slowly.
Ramel says, that is why LeBron will always be my man. Still with his sweetheart before the fame and money came. No outside children, married, and building a legacy. Now, here's the thing about that particular situation, right?
Oh,
Ladies, if you feel that LeBron is putting some horns in his wife, put some ones in the chat. Right? But to Ramel's point, he's still with her. And more importantly, she is still with him. Wholesale bracket. LeBron's become a billionaire a couple weeks ago. If you feel that the women in out there, like LeBron DMs, pelling it at you on a consistent level, you're fooling your foot. But to LeBron's credit, which is something that chokes me to say, but to LeBron's credit, there's no scandal. You had a couple of IG models that talk about he was in their DMs or whatever a couple years ago, but nothing of it. Nothing of it. Discipline. Discipline. The ability to be able to control yourself in particular environments so as to protect your investments and your assets, your family, your money. Yeah? Cheryl says, I disagree with what Justin said about the whole thing. If you grow and refuse to protect yourself, then you agree to accept whatever situation you end up in and don't quite about it, neither man or woman. I have sympathy for neither one. Here's the thing, Cheryl. That is your position. But we have seen over the past couple, however months we've been doing this show, Neil, we have seen repeatedly all kinds of justifications for the aberrant behavior of women. While on the other side of the coin, for men, is like, oh well, you do X, live with X. And that is why the men are becoming or have become so frustrated. That is why the men have become a little bit angry, a little bit militant in terms of how they deal with and respond to women. Because they have come to recognize the playing field is certainly not level. It is certainly not. Omar says, agreed. These are the ones who typically go broke from big spending also because they're spending on women. It is said that is one of the... You could be smoking and drinking and you will spend less than if you got a woman. They say women could be a terrible vice for a man to have. You're better off picking up smoking, drinking, and gambling. Believe that, right? Rian says, no one gets sympathy. You are grown and make choices. You think so? Okay. Here we go. Rian says also, that is why if we ain't evenly yoked, it ain't happening. I stay in my lane, you stay in yours. Laura says, I believe in due diligence. I sent out my spies before I started going out with the hubby. I all came back with the same report. All they could find out is that he plays enough dominoes and drinks. Can't beat that. Right? Jennifer said they believe in pelting, but I choosing to believe he protecting his family. Exactly. Discipline. They're gonna pelt. A man with that kind of shoot. LeBron is 6'8", 260 pounds, like 2 or 3% body fat, a billionaire. Shoot. Who ain't pelting parties at LeBron? Only the people that don't have them. You know what I mean? So, but he is chosen because I am certain the gods of women out there look phenomenal. And he's chosen to say, you know what? I gotta protect home. I gotta protect home. I'm pretty sure that he may got somebody put on a roster or two. Shout out Steve. He may got a roster or two, you know what I'm saying? That's swirling, but at the end of the day, he's decided the roster will not interfere with whom. I whether them girls on the roster understand the sign of non-disclosure or whatever, because it works that way on that level. If that's the position where they sign a non-disclosure, they can't talk about it to get some money. Cool. But at the end of the day, understand this is my wife and this is what working. You know what I mean? Justice says, but that is my point proven. I have no sympathy for him either. But here's a mirror of women sleeping with many men, having unprotected sex, with no regard for their investment, their body, but child support is their bailout. Oh boy. Yes, yes. So yes, Neil, that's where we are tonight. That is where we are tonight. I know I've spoken a lot on this particular issue. I will turn the floor back over to you. So again, so I'm not mic heavy.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, to speak on the LeBron James thing, right? You are right. I mean, we don't know what's going on there or whatever, but you have to understand that when you see Will and Jada, you see all of these celebrities still together because they understand the bigger picture. Shoot, last year they had the whole entanglement or whatever, and we can only speculate if Will is cheating on Jada or not. Shoot, we could even speculate if they got open marriage or not. We can speculate bare things, but the point is they're still together because, and we never hear nothing about the children. It's only here the other day that August Alsina, somebody got sloppy somewhere, and that happened. There was an entanglement. So you gotta stay on mission, and that's why it's so interesting, right? Because again, we don't know what's the situation with these celebrities. But obviously, LeBron James being who he is, that man does probably get offers on a daily. My DMs gonna stink, right? Dirty, right? But you stay on mission. And if you have someone and you realize, all right, here you, right? Let us build an empire, become rich, and obviously there'll be times where there'll be indiscretions or whatever. Just don't bring home the children. Or all you gotta do, don't bring home the scandal and the children. Keep my name on the mouth, don't bring on the right. Don't bring on the STDs or name, right? And we could keep it jiggy, right? I don't see. To me, I think we get confused. We get confused. I know Derek. When I talk about the love thing, my mom there is blow a gasket, right? And I will say that there is a problem with thinking with love in mind because they say love is blind, Shadow Eve. It will take over your mind. You think it's love, but it's really not. You need to elevate and find. And that's it. That's it. You can be in love, right? But you can still love yourself and say, all right, this ain't making sense to me. But shoot, I've been in love so much. You think that every time I'm in love, I should drop a child? If every time I'm in love, I should drop a child, I would be a father Abraham walking about. But I have a level of understanding. I don't know. It probably is my upbringing. Probably it's the people that I came up around or whatever. But I have never been a very impulsive person. I always check, recheck, and recheck again to my detriment at times. But at the end of the day, you gotta know where you both and stay on mission. If your mission is to, for example, the young man, I am sure wanted to, or he still wants to make a great impact in the NBA, secure the bag for his family, live a better life, have experiences that he can remain with him for a lifetime. That should be the mission. You find someone that is on mission with you, and if you find someone that is on mission with you, being someone that is wealthy, you have to protect yourself. You have to seek marriage, seek contracts, whatever you need to do. Because as we said in this space, marriage is not about love. Marriage is about the legal process
Duty.
and protection. It's not about love. Exactly. So you gotta be careful, man. You have to be careful with the decisions you make in your life, because when you make your decisions, the consequences that you reap, good and bad or bad, belong to you. Same way. Same way. We gotta be very, very careful with how we engage people. Um, I feel as though this whole narrative that he should get fleeced, security by, he should have known better, and this and that, the next, the third, that is all fine and good. But there's no condemnation of Brittany Renner for essentially putting on a ski mask, presenting her vagina, and say stick 'em up. You understand? Because Darren, I talked about this today. Like, if the roles were reversed, and a man was looking at a WNBA player since she was in high school, and then when she and then when she got legal, my mom decided, you know what, I can put him one.
Now
And
is the time.
And then he put him one, and then started to sue her for, child support, and won. I had to pay something like $200,000 when the month come. We be talking about, oh my God, this man should get canceled. This man should not, whatever. This man, Instagram need taken away. This man need this. This man need that. He don't deserve it. This and that. How the court system, how this and that and next. And this is what I mean about equality in society, right? Men, women, black, whatever. We have fought for the equality in society. So therefore, if in a situation that is reprehensible for one sex, it should be reprehensible for the other. That does not mean that men or women are the same, because we are not the same. I know that a lot of us confuse that. I know a lot of us see the equality in society and equality in opportunity, equal opportunity, and we see that to say that a woman could do anything that a man could do. Just pump your brakes. We are not the same. If you want to take that, however you want to take that, think about it. You can realize that we are not the same. We are wired differently. So in the end, I think that Britney should be taken to task. She should be cancelled. She should not have a career. She should not shoot. She should be brought up on charges if the statute of limitation ain't going up on that, depending on if they had sex or not before he was an adult. There are a myriad of things that should happen here. Instead of saying that, oh, you should have known better. Yeah, you should have known better. Yeah. And he can pay for it. Trust me.
He's going to pay for it.
Every month when he account showing down minus 200,000 in red, he can feel it. He gonna feel it, especially if in the next 3-4 years he's struggling to find a contract. He is going to feel it. So he is going to pay his price for his bad decision. But Brittany should pay her her price too. So let's be very cognizant of these things. Earlier we talked about in this space we talked about Jada preying on August Alsina. Alsina? I can't remember. Yeah. The young boy, right? And how the boy was hurting and needed healing and whatever. And she went with healing and everything and decided to give him a piece of the vagina because the loving
healing
is
powers, man.
Healing powers, right? But look at Erykah Badu. She's selling the Saint or whatever she's doing. But we have to get to a point where that was us. I played that game. Yeah. So so I mean it's one of those things where I feel as though I don't look at each other and say you post gloves check, mask check.
Yeah, man. You can put that on screen in public. Yeah,
but you got to realize, people, that we claim to be woke and we claim to be moving forward as a society that is holding people accountable and responsible, right? But it got to work both ways, right? We can't be holding one subset of the human race responsible and accountable and the other one not, because then what happens is that one is going to be so heavily scrutinized and quickly, and we are seeing it. Shoot, you go back in the man tweets, you might see something from 2012 and the man says something jokingly and it could be construed and perceived and this and that the next, and we cancel too. And again, It is about the character of the person. It is about, who they were then, the context with what they may and know. So there is that, and there's also, if you don't check both parties, if you don't check everyone in the society, then one subsect will feel as though they can do whatever they feel like and have excuses to be mediocre. Shout out Victoria, right?
Yeah.
Because we can't be out here living our best life, making stupid decisions, and then blaming other people for it. Because that is not how life works. Unless something absolutely abhorrent, that something that is infringing on your right as a human being for safety and security, that is a different conversation. But if we talking about do unto others, that's a big thing with me, boy. Do unto others. I told you all that's my mantra for life. Do unto others. So I ain't gonna rob nobody with my penis. Don't come and rob me for your vagina, because what my Caswell to say?
So I'm ready. Ain't got Caswell there for you, dog.
It ain't gonna work with me.
It ain't gonna work with me. It ain't gonna work with me. So
I'll tell you this, O'Neil.
Mhm.
You said earlier that you think that Brittany Renner should face some kind of fallout from it. What was that going to look like? Because in the grand scheme of things, and here's the difference, gentlemen, in case you didn't process it before. This is what happens. What can you charge her for? What are you going to punish her for? She and a man had sex, they had a child, they work up, they're done. You gotta support your child.
You want me to put Brittany Renner on screen here?
Yeah, please put Brittany Renner on screen, because everybody we have Brittany's photo, you're gonna put her on screen now.
Right. Just
Right?
replace the GUN with
Yeah.
the Vag.
Yeah. But we put in Brittany on screen.
Mm.
But here's the thing. What recourse or what repercussions will she face? Because and what would it look like? Gentlemen, understand, because we are more physical, right? We get vexed. Two men get in an argument. I put my hand in Neil Moat. We could see that there was a physical altercation. Neil pressing charges. I go face the court. But on the flip side, there was a story that my good buddy Mark, shout out Mark Moore again, he had shared with us, where a woman told her 3 daughters that they had been molested by their father.
Oh no!
And I robbed him of like 25 years of interaction with his children.
The Van Zandt woman or whatever?
Yeah, Ayala Van Zandt. She did a thing on it. And she admitted 25 years down the road that, well, yeah, that didn't really happen. And she had already, the man didn't even bother to fight it. He felt that there was no way he could fight it. He didn't bother to fight it. And they went on TV to air this whole thing out. And the mother was reluctant to apologize, right? And here's the thing. You do something like that, what are the repercussions for her as a mother? She's like, oh, man, it happened. Sorry. You watch paternity court. I know you don't like it, but paternity court. Women bring men to paternity court. Drag the man. A lot of times, those men paying already. Name on the birth certificate. You're already paying child support and stuff like that. But they got a little suspicion. So they say, you know what? We can go the road of paternity court. The woman come to court, bring down Jesus, say, yes, this is the man. Results come back. Judge Late says, you are not the father. This is my own money. It's my own resources, time. And mommy is like, well, the other fella, he really wanted to do the child, so he bring he instead to see what can happen. And we here. Oh, well, sorry.
Rian, you love paternity court? Well, you gotta look like you different, man. You really disappoint me. Yeah.
So Rian can bear me out.
Rian, no, man.
Bear me out.
No, man.
99% of the time, when the judge asks who is it, the next, if the other father wants if the other man wants to be a part of the child's life, the answer is no. So she, as a woman, has brought the other guy to court, hoping that he would be the person to step up and say, yeah, I can take care of it. Comes out he's not the father, and no punishment, no repercussions, no nothing. So what would the repercussions for what Brittany has done look like? And that's another part of it. Because there's a lot wrapped up in this particular topic, which is why I felt like we needed to talk about this so we could kind of push back that sex life thing again, right?
Oh,
There's a
dear.
lot in terms of talking about accountability and equality. Because everybody is saying, hey, PJ, you do jump, you see with a woman that known to the streets,
She belongs to the street.
you got to deal with that fallout. But on the flip side, when there's a woman dealing with a deadbeat man, suddenly no, the men in the use. You know what I mean? And so we really got to look at these situations and examine them critically, objectively, and let me be real and let me be fair. Because if we can say, well, poor PJ, chalk it up to the game, as one of the people on this screenshot say, chalk it up to the game. Well, when you deal with a deadbeat man, ladies, you got to chalk that up to the game. If you do, Laura did her background check, make sure that, yeah, hubby's the man, there's all he do is drink drinks and play dominoes. Then secret children away, he ain't got 40 women all over the place. I could deal with he. Laura went forward, married and everything good. Like what, right, Laura? You could confirm if everything good or not. She did her due diligence. No, I ain't saying that you can do due diligence and don't get burned. Yeah, what happened? But at least you would know when you went through. I did what I had to do, and this was the outcome. As opposed to I went in willy-nilly. And these are the results of the country games I played.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Omar say I saw one with a man who went to jail for 5 years, falsified evidence and all. I saw one, Omar. I'll share this one with y'all. And I need not really dig paternity court, but I love it.
No, I can't get no with it.
I got a couple of them saved that when they want a good laugh, I just go back and watch them, right? And this guy, he actually went to prison too. And woman came to court, very well dressed, attractive lady and everything. And she's sticking up, yeah, this man is the father. Then when it come down, this man wasn't the father. It's like, oh, shoot, whoops. Son, think he's a big man, take 20-some years old. This man lost years of his life in prison. So it's like, what is he supposed to do? How he can get back whatever money he would have paid one? And I'm certain after you spent some time in prison, the money is the least of his concerns. Clara say, yes, my friend did a background check. Well, welcome, Clara. Good to see you. Come in late.
Oh, yeah, shut
My
up,
friend
Claire.
did a background check at the registry for my now husband, and I'd only known him 2 months at the time. She felt nervous because I was so smitten. But here's the thing. I saw another podcaster, Kevin Samuels. He did a show only last night talking about dating does not work. The concept of dating, saying it doesn't work. That we date forever, don't get married, and then, kind of, because we can't get out of first gear in terms of our relationships. So his thinking was you should be with a person. Initially, he was saying 6 months, and then he said, we extend it to a year. So if you should not spend 2 Januaries with a person, let's say you meet them in January, you start going in January. January should not roll around again, and you have no intention of moving towards marriage or whatever, right? And I was like, that sounds a little quick, but there's the point. What are you going to learn with this guy that's applicable to the next guy? If you can break it, you can break it. You know what I mean? So I'm curious to hear, Claire, how soon after you and your hubby started going out, that you all would have, gone together, got him married and stuff like that. I'm curious. You never know. You can provide me a good story and I may change my mind on the whole thing. The ladies were trying to trap me into the whole marriage talk on Tuesday. So we never know. We'll see what happens. Rihanna says, by the way, I went watching some videos for Kevin Samuels after you guys mentioned him. Some points are valid and I get his frankness, which is needed. However, he is very disrespectful. And coming from a man twice divorced and suspected of being bisexual, a lot of his advice is a no for me. Okay, well, that's your perspective. Can't argue with that. There are some times that he can come across a little abrasive. I agree. His sexual orientation for me is no concern. But the advice, I would suggest that you pay attention to the advice. And from listening to his stuff and then watching certain things play out, I found that he's very, very accurate because he deals in facts. So I would suggest, even if you have issues in terms of sexual orientation and the disrespect that you feel, you consider it disrespect. Sometimes it can be. I would suggest you really pay attention to the message, some of the things he's saying. That is Romel's boy. Shout out Romel Miller again. So I guess you can see where some of his delivery comes from. But don't dismiss the advice. Don't get caught up in the delivery of it. 2 + 2 is 4, where you say hard or soft. Don't get caught up in that. Pay attention to what it is he's really saying, right? Because at the core of it, he's trying to encourage Black people to get together and form families. Not even the church in encouraging you in that, because Creflo Dollar came for him not too long ago. And then in the sermon, Creflo Dollar declared to the ladies in the church that you can do bad all by yourself, right? I don't know why the church would be encouraging women to be by themselves, but yeah, that was his perspective. So don't dismiss everything based on what you hear. Yeah. Rihanna says also a lot of women in these cases want punishing. They are extremely wrong and there are no consequences. I'm going to read that again. They are extremely wrong and there are no consequences. Some men have paid thousands in child support. There are many unfit mothers out there, and you would think a woman should operate in the best interest of a child. I have literally seen women with my eyes who deny the man access to their child because money hasn't come on time, or she's just plain angry at it. Yeah, that stuff happens. Men understand that's how it is. Rihanna asks about how can I listen to his advice when he has 2 failed marriages? The shoot, I got one. It's because of the failed marriages that we can give you advice. You can't. You gotta go to somebody who has done it, kind of like been through it, seen it up close and personal firsthand. Justice says, yeah, people listen to Steve Harvey. Yeah. So he's been through it. I've been through it. That's why I could come here and I could talk to you guys, share my experiences over the years. Having been in a marriage and been in long-term relationships. So I can tell you the stuff that I've been through, the stuff I've experienced. And this is some of the situation here. So don't knock it. Don't knock it. Check it. Check what he's saying. Right? So yeah, that's where you're at tonight, Neil. I don't know if you got anything else to add to the report tonight. But I just felt that we really needed to talk about this particular situation as a cautionary tale for men.
Yep.
So having said all that, I think we could call it a night early tonight. And to Justin's point about Steve Harvey's a comedian, right, guys? Let's keep that in mind. Man tells jokes for a living. Yet and still, you take relationship advice from him. Make that make sense. Anyhow, guys, this is the Senate Podcast here on YouTube and on Facebook. You can check us out every Tuesday and Thursday. We bring the real truth, hardcore discussion, and honest discussion to you. Not the pandering that you would normally get in other places.
Nope.
And coddling and all that stuff. We come, we shoot straight. No bullshit. Just trying to encourage you to be the best version of you for you.
No chaser.
Yeah, we don't make up the rules. We just
Mhm.
make sure you know what they are, right, guys?
Mhm.
So give us a follow on our social media platforms. Come back next week. We're gonna definitely deal with the topic we were supposed to talk about tonight in terms of, you know, finding that person to give you that 100%. If you can't find the 100%, what recourse do you have? We can definitely talk about that next week. So thank you so much for watching, guys. It's always been an honor to sit here and discuss with you. Tune in next week. Have a great weekend. Be the best version of you for you, and we will see you on Tuesday.
Peace and love and be safe.
We would go so far.